Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have any younger people in here. Well, almost everybody's younger than I am, except for Joe Danino. I'd like to welcome you all. We have been putting on a flag etiquette presentation and entered under the Children and Youth for the American Legion, entered into the classrooms of the school's elementary level. And we feel we've been successful. We give the presentation, we even hand out evaluations, and we explain to them that we feel we give a good class, but we tore down because we want it better. Telling me you did a good job, oh yeah, you got a nice voice and all that, doesn't make me better. Doesn't make me better. And that's why I hit the teachers on that. And I got my money's worth at one school, but that's what we was asking for. And we're in a continuum as far as updating our, if you will, even our technology. We're updating ourselves at how we get presentation. We're adding and deleting from whence we did almost 2 years ago this November. And we've come a long ways, baby. My name is Ed Mendoza. I have a staff here that makes me all worthwhile. All I've got to do is stand here and run my mouth, and one of these days Mike's probably going to figure out a way that he don't need me here either. So let's hope that doesn't happen on my check. That way I'll continue to get my Social Security check in the mail. As I said, we presented this to the elementary classes. We've also been asked to and given to the senior centers, the assisted living, and we get a bigger bang out of the adults, if you will, because now I can still put anybody asleep, but we can still keep more of the seniors awake, because to me, and I tell them that to me that's my peers. That's my peers, people my age in the centers, and I feel that they may know, and we have learned from them some things that some states do that we don't do here, and wasn't even cognizant of that. And periodically, I'm going to be taking me a drink of water here, so if you will, I'm going to do that now.
And while he's doing that, I'll let you know that so far we have seen, given it to 2,559 students, 987 senior citizens.
That was Rose Peppered here that does the admin part on us and keeps the stats on us, does admin, gets us hooked up with the schools and whoever wants to listen to us. Mike Sandin is back there, he's running the camera, takes care of this along with Smitty that helps us out. Smitty runs the ivories over here, and then Ruben Armandera is here, does the folding of the flags, which we will have that presentation here after this. My wife Sandra Mendoza is in the back. She helps out where she can, and Linda as well. Linda, right? Yeah. Linda as well pops in whenever Smitty might not be able to show up and support. There's a few other members here that we've asked for a backup, not so much as far as to intercede, but in the event we get busy enough, we like to have an 18, we like to have 2 18s available. And one of these days, heaven forbid, if Ed couldn't talk, Rose can, Mike can, and then we have a hierarchy, if you will, but I'm privileged to represent this group here via opening my mouth. I'm going to be giving explanation on some things. We're going to give some slides on the flags, some of the history. We're not going to give you all the flags because some of them we really don't care, and we don't have that much time. At the end of that, we will have a flag folding demonstration, and then if you hold your questions until later, we might answer them through this process. So we'll call for questions at the end of this, if you would please. I enjoy saying this, and I do this in the grade school because this is the way we lead off. How many people here remember Red Skelton? Well, the only ones we get, you bet, thanks for the participation. The only ones we get is we might get a teacher. And of course, some of the teachers are, you know, and all the kids are just out there starry-eyed, the deer in the headlights still. And I, of course, you anticipate that, so I get a laugh out of that and tell him about that. He was a comedian. You already know, January 29th, as you were January 14th of 1969, on his CBS station, Comedy Hour, he gave this presentation from a teacher of his, and he can say it a lot better than I can. So if you would please, I'm ready for Red Skelton.
I remember a teacher that I had. Now I went through the 7th grade. I went to the 7th grade. And I left home when I was 10 years old because I was hungry. This is true. I work in the summer and I go to school in the winter. But I had this one teacher. It was the principal of the Harrison School in Vincennes, Indiana. To me, this was the greatest teacher, a real sage of my time, anyhow. He had such wisdom. And we were all reciting the Pledge of Allegiance one day. He walked over, this little old teacher, Mr. Laswell was his name. Mr. Laswell was his, he says, I have been listening to you boys and girls recite the Pledge of Allegiance all semester. And it seems as though it's becoming monotonous to you. If I may I recite it and try to explain to you the meaning of each word. I, me, an individual, a committee of one, pledge, dedicate all of my worldly goods to give without self-pity, allegiance, my love and my devotion to the flag, our standard, Old Glory, a symbol of freedom. Wherever she waves, there's respect, because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts freedom is everybody's job. United. That means that we have all come together. States, individual communities that have united into 48 great states. 48 individual communities with pride and dignity and purpose. All divided with imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common purpose. And that's love for country. And to the Republic. A state in which sovereign power is invested in representatives chosen by the people to govern. And government is the people. And it's from the people to the leaders, not from the leaders to the people, for which it stands. One nation, meaning so blessed by God, indivisible, incapable of being divided, with liberty, which is freedom, the right of power to live one's own life without threats, fear, or some sort of retaliation. And justice, the principle or qualities of dealing fairly with others. For all, which means, boys and girls, it's as much your country as it is mine. And now, boys and girls, let me hear you recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Since I was a small boy, 2 states have been added to our country, and 2 words have been added to the Pledge of Allegiance. Under God. Wouldn't it be a pity if someone said that is a prayer and that would be eliminated from school students?
How many remember that? You bet we do. There's some things in life are so vivid to you once we're reminded about that. That means a whole lot more now than what it did back then. And I tell this to the young people. Actually, I tell it more to I talk to everybody. But that meant a whole lot more. It hit home once I came face to face with the drill instructor at boot camp. Everything became vivid at that time. And you know what? It still hasn't changed yet. I'm afraid he's still alive out there. The Pledge of Allegiance of itself has been around since Columbus Day of 1893. Over the years, it has been updated with some verbiage. Words have been added, a few taken away. Some of them have changed a little bit from my flag to the United States, American flag, United States flag. But under God, that he made mention to, became a reality as it started out in 1951. The Knights of Columbus started their petitions going through their ranks, and then in 53 they ended up sending petitions and asking for a flag amendment to the flag code, to the President of the United States, the Vice President, the Speaker of the House, both sections of Congress, and in 1954 President Eisenhower wrote into law the words "under God." So that's what's been added. That's the latest one. And of course you all know that over the years that there have been a big push to remove "under God," and there's little pushes going on, but none were bigger than 10 years ago. None were bigger. Now, what I want to show you is some banners or flags that America has gone through. Now, I say America because this is our history. This flag is General George Washington's war flag, or his camp flag. We were not a nation yet. That's why I said this is part of a history. If you'll note, he has white color 6 pointed stars on a field of blue. 6 pointed stars. I don't know where they came from, other than the fact that they came over from Europe. And if you look around in the Mideast, some of the older pictures, religious pictures, still have 6 pointed stars on them. But this was flown where his war camp was during the Revolution. And of course, there's 13 stars. Next one, please. This is the Grand Union flag. This is not an authentic, authorized flag for the United States because we are yet to be a nation. But this grand flag was otherwise known as the Continental Colors, the Naval Ensign, and the Cambridge flag. The flag has been flown in many, many areas. One of them was on December 3rd, 1775. It was flown aboard Captain Essex Hopkins' flagship Alfred by John Paul Jones, then a naval lieutenant, second lieutenant. Hence the word Navy. It stayed with the Navy, the Revolutionary Navy. It was later flown at Liberty Pole at Prospect Hill near George Washington's Cambridge War Camp, hence Cambridge flag. Next flag. This one here we're more familiar with. Obviously the young people in school remember this. I always ask, can anybody recognize what is this flag? The Betsy Ross flag. It's known because that's how we know it, is the Betsy Ross flag. There was a small committee of General Washington, Robert Morris, and George Ross, who was a relative of Betsy Ross, came to her and says, we're beginning to be a new nation. We need a new flag. We have a design and we need somebody to build this for us. So she, being a seamstress, looked it over and she said, I will do this. And she did, with one exception. She changed from 6 pointed stars to 5 pointed stars. Now, I've often thought about this now that I know the difference from General Washington's 6-pointed stars to General Washington's design. I'm assuming it had 6-pointed stars. Well, how did she change her mind? Just like back then, it's a matter of economics, as it is now. She took a swath of cloth, white cloth, folded it 9 times, creased it twice, snip, snip, unfolded a perfect 5-pointed star. In the adult sector, I say the reason why she changed it is because she's a woman and she has to have her way on something. And I'm just kidding about that if I offended anybody. My wife looking at me funny. Now, the stars were in a circle. That is so that none of the colonies were above another one in rank or status. And also, thank you, sweetie. And also in a circle, General Washington looked at that design and he said, let the 13 stars in a circle stand as a new constellation in the heavens. And that's how we came up with that. We have, what we're showing you is how the 5-pointed star is folded, creased, and then snipped. We take this and we will let the elementary people prove the worth or the validity of the statement we made. And we've been asked for this with adult people too as well, have we not? Yeah, so it goes over good. And of course everybody went, no, I don't think you're right. Prove it to me. You know, not everybody here is from Missouri. Next one. June 14, 1777, the Continental Congress. We are now a nation. We want a new flag representing the United States. Here is the first United States authorized official flag under the Flag Act, the first Flag Act that a new Continental Congress made in 1777. It has red and white stripes, red at the top and at the bottom, alternating with the white. It has a field of blue, just like General Washington's war flag banner was. It has white and 5-pointed stars now. And there are 13 stars and 13 stripes. We as Americans, and back then, symbolize a lot of things. The text, our young kids, our OMG, oh my God, anything else, I don't know what that means, but we do a lot of acronyms, which we learned in the service. So we symbolize a lot. Of course, I asked the young people, why is the number 13 significant? Because there was 13 original colonies. Should we change anything on that? Then the young people growing up in the new world 10 or 15 years from now may not know the history that the US of A started with 13 colonies. With 13 colonies. This is the first United States flag. The flag lasted for a period of 18 years, and there was one president that served under this, and that was President Washington. We added 2 states, which was to this in 1794, Vermont and Kentucky. So, I'm sorry. Okay, that's good. That's good. And they resolved this, that there will be 15 stars and 15 stripes. And that's what we have. So we go back to the first flag. Yeah, Star Spangled Banner. This is the only United States flag that has 15 stars and 15 stripes. 15 stripes. The Star Spangled Banner, as it is known as, is because Francis Scott Keyes aboard an English ship viewed the actual bombardment at Fort McHenry on September 13th of 1814, and he penned the words to our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner. Again, I emphasize this because even some of the seniors, if you will, did not know we had a 15-stripe flag. I didn't either. I didn't either. So if we don't tell our youth, they'll not know. The Third Flag Act of 1818 reduced the number of stripes back to 13 originally, and then stated that a flag, as you were, the star would be added to the flag for each state only. No more stripes. No more stripes. Mike took in his own solo mind that had we not changed anything with our 50 stars and 50 stripes, this is what we'd be looking at. Wouldn't that be a heck of a halyard to hang on to out there with the Kansas winds? Well, the forefathers knew that, so that's why they went back and said, hey, you know, Ed's going to talk about us later on, so we need to cut this back to the original 13, which is our 13 stripes, original colonies. We still remember our 13 colonies that this world, our world, as America knows it, came from. Okay, next one, please. 34-star flag. What does a 34-star flag have to do with us from Kansas? I like stomping my foot in the grade schools because that kind of pushes them young people around. It's a lot better. I don't know. And there was some times that I forgot as well. January 29th, 1861, where the 34th star on our flag is Kansas. There was one president that served under this. And I tell the young people, okay, who was that president? But first, what was going on in 1861? What turmoil was the United States going through? 1861 was the Civil War. And everybody relates the Civil War to Abraham Lincoln. He was the only president to serve under this, and this flag stood for 2 years. Okay. Now, there was no instructions on how the stars should be placed on the flags back then. No instructions. So the people that made flags had it at their discretion how they wanted to form the field of states. This was pretty simple. This was always done with the stripes, right at the top and bottom, alternating with white. The stars, the proximity might have been looked like they was rocking. There are some flags that are rocked to the left, the next line is to the right, and so on. I think we have this flag in here. No, back up. Yeah, we don't have that. Okay.
One more.
Some of them, as you've seen, probably have the number 76 in the upper left. That was an actual flag. It was not an authorized flag, but that was an unofficial flag. Unofficial. I know you'll remember the snake curled up and said, "Don't tread on me." That was an unofficial, but it is an American banner. It was an American banner, just not an official United States flag. Here, of course, you see this is our 50-star flag. The points are to the top, and that came into view with 1912 when President Truman said, let's kind of straighten some of this stuff out. I want all the stars pointing centered up. So he did that. The rows to be level. And he did that. The next one could be offset, but all he wanted, all the stars would be level. Because he knew, as big as the territory was still getting, we could have more than 34 states, 35 states, 40 states, whatever the case may be. Prior to Flag Day, June 14, 1923, neither the federal government or state had directives of how the flag should be treated, how it should be displayed. So the Flag Act came in, was signed by President Truman again, that how the flag should be treated and how not to treat it. And I'm going to explain to you a few of these. The American flag is not dipped to anybody or anything. United States flag is flown upside down only as a means of distress, which is international code. I think about everybody knows that here. International code is, I'm in trouble, I need some help. A ship out to sea has no communications anymore. Fly the flag upside down. Somebody flying by or another ship passes and they say, hey, I think those guys are in trouble. That's what that means. That's what that stands for. Okay. The flag should never be used as drapery or the covering of the speaker's desk. A platform, draping for any decoration in general. That is what bunting is for. Red, white, and blue bunting. You'll see these during political affairs, and you've seen some of these this year locally. You'll see a whole heck of a lot of these at presidential debates, etc. The blue goes to the top. Blue goes to the top. The flag should never be used for any advertising purposes. It should not be embroidered, printed, or otherwise impressed on such articles as cushions, handkerchiefs, boxes, napkins, or anything intended for intermediate use and immediate use. Advertising signs should not be attached to the pole or the halyard. The flag should be marked, insignia, letters, numbers, figures, or drawings. The flag should never be dipped to any person or anything. The flag should not be used as part of a costume or an athletic uniform. However, a shoulder patch is authorized for military personnel, the police department, the fire department, patriotic organizations, the Boy Scouts, and the Girl Scouts. As you see, the stars always point forward. Symbolic as you know what. This flag never runs. We're always going forward. And you might say, Ed, you know what? I seen this Boy Scout and he has this flag on his right shoulder backwards. And Ed's answer is, yeah, they were kind of grandfathered in because they had the flag on the shoulder authorized before we did. That's a neat history. That's neat history. Okay, displaying the flag indoors. When you're displaying it with a speaker like myself, it's always on the right, place of honor. All of the flags should be to the left. It would be to the right of the speaker or right of a building, whichever you was using. The flag of the United States of America should be at the center and at the highest point when a group or number of flags of states, loyalties, or societies are grouped for display. Now, then obviously there's a hierarchy. Whichever one's on the left and right is how they are ranked. Next, when displaying the flag of the United States staffs across, the American flag will be on the right side, and the shaft will be on top of the other flag. Next one. When displaying the flag against the wall, vertically or horizontally, the field, the Union, will be to your left and to the flag's own upper right, vertically. Horizontally, it's at the upper line, up its own upper right, as you're viewing at your upper left. Raising and lowering the flag. The flag should be raised briskly and lowered slowly and ceremoniously. Ordinarily, it's flown at sunrise until sunset. However, if it's illuminated, it can fly 24/7. When the flag is lowered, no part of it should touch the ground or anything else. It's received by waiting hands and arms. To store the flag, it should be folded carefully, neatly, and then put away for the next duty day. The flag, if it's dirty, you can clean it. If it's a little ragged, you can mend it. You can repair your flag. But when it is no longer fit to serve as a symbol of our country and our way of life, it should be retired and destroyed by burning. And there is a ceremony for that in a dignified manner. Dignified manner. People ask, hey, I got a bunch of flags in the closet. What do I do with them? You can drop them off to the American Legion Post, the Patriotic Organization, the fire station. The firemen will take that, and or again, the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts. Display the flags outdoors. When the flag is displayed from a staff projecting from a window, a balcony, or a building, the union should be at the upper top, the uppermost, as you can see here. Stabilized that way. When it's, next one please, when it's displayed from the same flagpole with another flag, or state of community, society, or scout unit, the flag of the United States will always be at the top. The flag of the United States will always be at the top. Exception to every rule, isn't there, Navy people? The church flag can be flown above the American flag during church services performed by an actual Navy chaplain on a ship at sea. That's the only time, the exception to that. When the flag is displayed over a street, it should be hung vertically with the Union to the north or to the east. So by this, that would either be north or east. It's something else that's good about America. We tell you where you're going. On the street, we got all kinds of people telling us where to go, but at least with flag doctrine, it tells you which way is north and which way is east. That's how you fly this flag over a street. Okay. When the flag is flown with other states, communities, or societies from separate flagpoles, which are the same height in a straight line, the American flag should be on the far right. And then, of course, the hierarchy or the state, national flag, city flag, whatever the flag might be. It's always on the right for its own state of honor. So on your left, the flag's own right. And you can see the same thing here at the top. There's another way of flying it. The American flag is at the top, and then the state flag and a logo. Federal buildings. Post office, you'll see it like this. You'll see it like that. You can look, you drive by Boeing, Spirit, I mean. They're like this. That's correct. That's correct. When displayed on cars and motorcycles, it will be on the right front fender. If you've seen the motorcade with the president, which I've seen it twice this year, that it is at the right-hand side, and on the left, I have seen the presidential seal flag on the left, and that's okay. Right now, all we're talking about is the American flag. In a motorcade, the American flag will be on the right-hand side, and the national POWMI, the state flag, whatever it might be, would be on the left, behind the driver, so not obstructing the view. I enjoy that part, telling the young people, now why do we not put our flags in front of us? Because we say they've got to be the front. And of course, one kid said, well, you can't see then, where you going? Well, that's the right answer. Little wise guys. Okay, next one, please. When we're displayed with national banners of other countries, each flag must be displayed from a separate flagpole. It's the same height. Now, national banners, we're talking about like if we're meeting at the UN. All the flags will be in line. The American flag in America will be the farthest right. Farthest right would be the building. I'm the building. My American flag is going to be the farthest right. All other flags from other nations will come under alphabetical order. Alphabetical order. Each different national flag will fly from a separate flagpole. All of them will be the same height. All of them are raised at the same time and lowered at the same time. You see, this is displayed with our service flags. And the American flag is to the right. Next in line should be the Army, then the Marines, the Navy, Air Force, and then the Coast Guard. Is that right, Mike? Did I say it right? Is that right? Yeah. You're telling this, Ed, tell us. Okay, do that. Okay, next one, please. Parade and display. Under parading and saluting the flag, the American flag is to the right, as we know it should be. Symbolism, we have two armed guards on the side, and that's symbolic of what? This country or this flag is never left unprotected. That's a symbolism behind that. And there's more to that I'm sure that you're probably aware of, but yeah. But this is the way the flag goes. The next flag is usually a state flag. You've seen them down in Wichita, you've seen them here in Derby. It's my understanding you people here in Derby do a fine, respectable job of flying the flag, parading it, especially on the 4th of July and all federal holidays and every day of the year. I understand your post does that. Is that right, Joe? You do a good job. Thank you, Commander. Good job. When carried in a procession, the flag could be on the right-hand side of the marchers. When the flag is carried, the flag of the United States may be centered in front if we have other flags behind. For instance, at a parade in the Legion, if we would show up, the American flag would be centered and all districts would be from 1 to 8 lined up behind that. You remember when we was, I'm talking to Army guys now, when we would parade and review, we would have the American flag in front and all and all of your battalion flags would be following that. Or we'd have the American flag and then we would have a guidon. Remember that thing? We'd follow it at a dead run every opportunity we got. And we had plenty of opportunities. That's the symbolism of that. When the flag passes in a procession, it is hoisted or lowered. All should face the flag, come to attention, and salute. The salute. Those in uniform give the appropriate military salute. Those men that are wearing headgear should remove their headgear and put their hands over the right shoulder if not in uniform. Women and children do the same thing. Women with headgear are not known for removing their headgear. What they do is put their hands over their hearts. That's appropriate. Members of organizations in formation. We're at some place and we have an actual formation. Military people in there, they are under a command and they are told when to salute and when to drop the salute. The flag of the United States is saluted as is hoisted in the flag and saluting. The national anthem is played or sung. Citizen should stand at attention and salute at the first note and hold the salute through the last note. The salute is directed toward the flag. If not visible, then toward the music. Exception. And I know some of you are thinking this. The Duncan Hunter National Defense Authorization Act of 2009 allows military salute to the flag during the national anthem to all military people not in uniform and veterans. And veterans. Flags in mourning. The flag in mourning. The flags to be flown at half staff in the morning. For designations by principal government leaders and upon presidential gubernatorial order and by the governor of each state. And you've noticed that we have had our flags at half-staff during this week. If I can find this thing here. That's because in accordance with Executive Order 1012, Kansas Governor Sam Brown has ordered flags to be flown at half-staff from sunup to sundown throughout the state of Kansas in honor of the passing of State Representative Joe Edwards from now until his internment, which was yesterday. It's yesterday. That's why that came that way. Place the flag at half-staff, hoist it to the peak for an instant, and lower it to position halfway down the staff. The flags that are not on the halyard or are a fixed position, what do? Ed, I've got a flag hanging off the end of my porch just like you do. How do I fly my flag half-staff? Well, Mike furnished me with one of these ribbons, which all I did was talk about it. He showed me where I could show you. You'll attach your ribbon or sash, black sash, at the top of the flag as such. And that represents half-staff. I did not know that until about 4 or 5 years ago. Did not know that. In fact, I was told by Legion Commander then that that's what that's supposed to be, and so it's been real good for me. Now I see very few of those out there, but on Memorial Day you're more than likely to see mine. On Memorial Day the flag is displayed at the half-staff from morning until noon, and then at noon it's hauled all the way back up to the end of the day, or if it's illuminated, 24/7. How many people have been to a veteran's funeral? Sure, just about everybody has. If not, you've certainly seen that. Seen them. The casket flag is over the left side and the left breast of the intended victim. Bad word. Person on the casket. That flag does not go in burial with the veteran. As you all remember what happens, that flag is picked up at the end of the service, brought over one way or another, neatly folded ceremoniously, and then that triangle is presented to the next of kin, usually a wife. Now, with as many women as we have in the services, combat areas, it could be a husband, a mother or father. It could be the next of kin, could be children. I think it's 2-3 years ago nationally we seen at Arlington that flag given to a 5-year-old boy. Okay, let me gather myself. What did I do with my stuff here? Along with our presentation this year, we've decided to introduce the banners, the blue and gold banners, to the kids, because if they don't know anything about the rest of it, they sure won't know about this. And probably some of them do. And maybe one of those was that 5-year-old kid that received the flag. Hopefully not. But the Blue Star flag, this is the Blue Star banner. The Blue Star Service banner was designed and patented in 1917 by World War I Captain Robert L. Cuisner of the 5th Ohio Infantry, who had 2 sons serving on the front lines. It quickly became the unofficial symbol of a child in the service. On September 24, 1917, an Ohio congressman read the following into congressional record. The mayor of Cleveland, the Chamber of Congress, and the governor of Ohio have adopted this service flag. The world should know of those who give so much for liberty. The dearest thing in all the world for father and mother is their children. Today, Blue Star banners are displayed by families who have loved ones serving in the armed forces, including the National Guard and reserves of all military departments and organizations as well. On March 24th of 2010, Resolution 534 proposed May 1, 2010 as the start of annual Silver Star Service Banner Day. And Congress passed H.R. 855, making Silver Star Service Banner Day on May 1st an official day to honor wounded, ill, and injured veterans. The Silver Star Banner has come to represent those members of the armed forces and veterans who are wounded or became ill in combat of the wars fought by the United States. Since World War II, our nation has been at war. Service flags have been flown in the windows of military families. These flags are a message to the community. It is bordered in white, as you were. It is bordered in red, and the center is white. In the field is a white star. This one is a star for each member of the family serving. Up to 5 stars on a banner. Why 5 stars? I did not look that up. During World War II, how many Sullivan brothers were lost? That's right. That's right. Imagine the pain of the family that has buried someone they love very much who fought for this country and this nation, having to explain every day or repeatedly why they show the banner in the window or why they show a gold star on their breast pocket. Imagine the pain they feel when truly people make innocent comments that in reality make us feel that they do not care, that we do have people, men and women, fighting for this nation and dying as well. And there are people who are so unaware that lives have been given, they don't even know what a 100-year symbol born in this nation means. It's not just the gold star we need to educate people on, but the real sacrifice and great love of the nation that bore that star. There's a world of information I'm going bypassing. Otherwise, we would be here all night. And Steve said he's not providing lunch because he's seen me eat. So that's what I'm going to give you. Okay, as you see here, most of you know who some of those people are. These are Legion members, the American Legion Riders, for more than one post. At the family's request, they will show up at a veteran's funeral. They will stand, as you see right here, with their flags posted, a parade of red, white, and blues. They'll do this today at 103-degree temperature, or January 1 at a -4. And you'll see just as many in the summer as you will in the winter. Our hats are off to American Legion Riders and veterans. That's it. There's my casket flag. I must have got ahead of myself. I'm going to ask for questions after we give this flag folding presentation, and I ask if Rose would please read verbiage what each flag fold means.
Noting honor is a canton of blue containing the stars representing states veterans served in uniform. The canton filled of blue dresses from left to right, and it is verted only when draped as a pall on the casket of a veteran who has served our country honorably in uniform.
Flag of a country, hand salute. Ready? 2.
In the Armed Forces of the United States, at the ceremony retreat, the flag is lowered, folded in a triangle fold, kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning it is brought out, and at the ceremony of reveille runs aloft as a symbol of our belief in the resurrection of the body. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veterans departed our ranks who gave a portion of life for the defense of our country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature, for as American citizens trusting in God, it is to Him return in times of peace as well as times of war for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decanter, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is where our hearts lie. It is with our hearts that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all our enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic. Excuse me. The eighth fold is a tribute to motherhood, for it has been through their faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of men and women who made this country great has been molded. The ninth fold is a tribute to fatherhood, for they too have given their sons and daughters in the defense of our country since they were first born. The 10th fold, in the eyes of Jewish citizens, represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 11th fold, in the eyes of Christian citizens, represents an emblem of eternity, and glorifies in their our country was founded. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God We Trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Joe, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the Armed Forces of the United States, preserving for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today.
Okay, we're open for questions now. Does anybody have any questions?